What's up, guys? This is Dave from The Disorderly. I'm joined once again by the illustrious, the award-winning, the future great, Mr. Andrew Volpe.
Man, what an intro.
You could say you knew him. You knew him when. We'll probably be in 2028. We're going to get Me Too'd somehow where people are listening back to these and
yeah, I'm sure
where it all went wrong.
All of these podcasts are going to be blackmail material for us somehow in some way in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Used against us in a court of law or just a court of public opinion. Whatever may come.
Yeah.
We're prepared.
Yeah.
But,
embrace it.
Yeah, we're down for it.
This is our Girls Gone Wild, embarrassing college
it's just a phase of our lives. It was a confusing phase. We're away from mom and dad.
Yeah. Finally 18.
Finally, we just turned 18. Can you believe it?
Right? It's so crazy.
Exactly. We graduated high school 2005. So there you go.
Oh man.
All right. So we're back for another entry in our beloved series of we actually read the book. So what we did was we read Good Omens this time. The 1990 classic, I guess, in quote, classic.
Yeah, I think it's pretty well regarded.
Yeah, Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. I just thought it was Neil Gaiman. I didn't know Terry Pratchett had anything to do with it until recently.
I was not even super aware of who Terry Pratchett was until very recently before reading this. So,
have you read any Discworld?
No, I was Wikipediaing it yesterday, but fantasy stuff isn't. I don't even really count this as fantasy, I guess, but this isn't usually my cup of tea, so it's all very new to me. I feel like I've heard of him before, and I've had certain things like Discworld. I vaguely remember, and I feel like I've
48 books in the series or something crazy like that.
That's so insane. Can totally see how the two of them ended up working together, though, because they both seem like they kind of work on the same wavelength and everything.
It's crazy to think because, as we're kind of, doing the book, and just to kind of give you a brief, we read the book, we watch the series, the movie, the show, whatever it may have you, and then we'll kind of talk about it. And, which one do we like better? Why do we like this one better and that one? How do they ruin it? And so on and so forth. And doing the, just cursory little background knowledge, of just reading about how they collaborated back in 1985, mailing each other floppy disks, not the actual floppy disk cartridge things that we played with in the third grade. Actual floppy disks that they would boot up and then collaborate that way.
Yeah, and that astounded me because it's hard to collaborate with someone when you have them in the same room, let alone just hours on the phone every day. With this book's got a kind of complicated plot, I would say, with a ton of characters.
It's far too complicated.
It boggles my mind. I kind of wonder how much of it is kind of handing it off, kind of the Beautiful Corpse thing, where you kind of start a sentence and then let somebody else run with it, and then you see what they have when they give it back to you, and you kind of, it's almost like a game of telephone kind of thing. But
right, because it sounds like they kind of split up the duties, but then they started writing the other guy's characters, and they finished it that way. It was very strange.
Yeah, and I think Terry Pratchett said, he, at least in terms of actual physical typing, he wrote slightly more of it, but it was so convoluted who had done which draft of what. By the end, they really did feel like it was an amalgam of the two of their minds and everything.
And they kind of talked about what ideas were primarily whose, and I'm trying to remember what Gaiman was kind of responsible for, but I think Pratchett was more responsible for the Agnes Nutter prophecy kind of end of the whole thing.
I think he wrote most of the Atom stuff, and I think Gaiman was more of the four horsemen.
Angels and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like which kind of also makes sense. The four horsemen. I've only read a few of Neil Gaiman's things, but at least of what I know of him, that feels like is very fitting with what he's done before and everything.
Yeah. No, it was classic Gaiman in all the ways that I can't stand him. You know what I mean?
Well, have you read? Because I've only read. I feel like I need to get my nerd card revoked because I've never read Sandman, even though I know I need to. And the only thing of his I've read is Marvel 1602, which is fantastic. But I feel like that's not a great representation. You know, it's like technically a superhero comic book or whatever. So
yeah, So I'm trying to think. I've read American Gods.
Right.
I read, Sandman, a few of the volumes, and I read the recent kind of graphic novel he did that they made into a movie.
Is that How to Talk to Girls?
How to Talk to Girls. Yeah, whatever that was. Yeah, I read that. And I think he's best when he's not allowed to write a book.
Oh,
like
right.
Just
somebody
write,
limits
just,
his.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's getting. I don't know if he's getting paid by the word, but I want to see the ghost of your boy.
You're
talking Hemingway, Ernest Hemingway, just beat the shit out of Neil Gaiman because I would love to hear them just discuss the writing process. You know,
those are two far ends of the spectrum.
Just the absolute polar opposites. Neil Gaiman wants to tell you what the 80th lead in his book ate for breakfast on Tuesday in 1974, how he felt about it, and then how that guy's mother felt about it. I mean, I could not give less of a shit, dude. God damn, get on with it.
That in that sense, his writing reminds me of older, something that you would read in your literature class, classic, the verboseness and the non sequiturs and everything. Definitely,
like, dude, what are you doing? I was like, my soul left its body. When they started doing the footnote of the money. Do you remember that part?
Yes, I remember.
I mean, I could not believe what I was hearing. And I was like, listen, when we do this podcast, I'm going to bring it up. I can't do it justice, but I found the snippet, and I'll read it for you now. Okay, this is a footnote.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Go for it.
Terry Pratchett likes to add humorous footnotes in his books, apparently. So this was when they were... It's the most English book of all time.
For sure, 100%.
I mean, just... It's in an English little town. It's just English. Like, we get it. Okay. But it's like... Ugh. All right. We gotcha. Okay, so this is the beginning of it. Note for young people and Americans. 1 shilling equals 5p. It helps to understand the antique finances of the Witchfinder army if you know the original British monetary system. 2 farthings equal 1 halfpenny. 2 halfpennies equals 1 penny. 3 pennies equals a threepenny bit. 2 threepences equals a sixpence. 2 sixpences equals 1 shilling or bob. 2 bob equals a florin. 1 florin and 1 sixpence equal half a crown. 4 halves crown equals 10 bob note. 2 10 bob notes equals 1 pound or 240 pennies. 1 pound and 1 shilling equals 1 guinea.
Was that it? Does it go on?
And it goes on. It explains the British resisted decimalized currency for a long time because they thought it was too complicated.
Right.
And I'm like, my brain just... I was like, I'm done, dude. I'm done.
Okay, so I agree. There probably were too many asides. Even though I think I came down
There's too
more
many
favorably.
plots.
Well, so that one particular instance was the point of that footnote. I felt like a lot of the footnotes were meant to be like kind of twee and sarcastic. So
because I think it was what's his name negotiating the wages of his apprentice slave Witchfinder.
Right.
And he was like, "I'll pay you 6 pence a day" or something like that. And we were like, "What the hell is that?"
Right. But so, going through, I think a lot of that's not like current British currency,
No,
right? That's
I've
like
been
antiquated
to,
or
yeah,
whatever.
No. Well, yeah.
But so I totally agree that was ridiculous, but I feel like that is a good, it kind of summarizes the book in a way. Like this book is all about the asides and the non sequiturs and because I was thinking about it, not to get sidetracked, but like at the end of the story, when you look back on it, it's one of those plots. It's kind of got the Indiana Jones thing going on where if the characters did nothing, the plot still would have turned out the way it turned out, kind of things. Like
Yep.
all of these asides and non sequiturs and characters and everything, they all really don't add up to anything because nobody ends up actually doing anything that wasn't kind of set in motion in the beginning with anyways. So I think it's one of those, try to enjoy the journey, not the destination. Though I do agree. There was probably a few too many asides. I had a hard time keeping track of all of it when I was reading it, and I feel like when I saw it play out, a lot of the things play out on screen. It kind of made it a lot more cohesive in my mind.
But I think it's not what the book is, though.
Yeah,
I was like,
well,
did that happen? I don't remember this at all.
I think I gotta say, as far as screen adaptations go, it probably helped that Gaiman actually adapted his own material, but I feel like, the miniseries actually did a pretty good job of like kind of cutting away most of those asides, and granted, it still had a lot of like non sequiturs and all this other stuff, but I feel like, especially since you're watching it play out on screen in a montage too, it kind of made it a little bit more lively. So it's weird how certain things that really made the pace kind of hard, slow in the book, like I feel like flowed pretty well in the film version or the TV series, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, why are you guys adding more? Why are you adding more?
Well,
like, what, you're adding whole other weird twisty scenes? What are you doing? You know what I mean? The book is...
Yeah, like, I think the big deviation came, what was it, like episode 3? Like, the first half of episode 3 was kind of just a lot of David Tennant and Michael Sheen, like, just hanging out.
Right.
Through the
kind of going back through the ages kind of a thing.
Which I thought was kind of good, because I feel like even though in the book it mentions it, like, you didn't see, like, whole scenes play out. Like, I felt like it was mostly there to establish their friendship through the ages and everything a little bit more.
But, like the spy scene where... They're in the Nazi church and stuff, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, here we go.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah,
it was weird. I found like they they didn't really stick with the kids much at all.
Yeah.
I thought that was the most fascinating thing about this whole book, is that this kid is the Antichrist and he's manifesting reality based on the conversations bullshitting with other like 10-year-olds.
Right.
And none of that really was done in the book. Did they have the Tibetan monks that rise up from the ground?
Yeah, they
had the. Did they do, like, I feel like they just didn't. Did they do this? The city of Atlantis? Like, they really could have done more with the Atlantis, with the aliens. They had the one scene with the weird, horrible CGI alien.
Yeah,
person is talking the lemon sherbet.
Yeah, the little
the
candy that replaces the nuclear reactor.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's hard to tell because a lot of the book blends. I read I feel like we both had to like intake the book very fast in order to.
I intaked it faster than I've taken a shot of whiskey, my friend.
Yeah,
I turned the audio because I audiobook it and I drive because I drive a lot.
Right.
I turned the speed to 1.5.
Oh, right.
And so I had to chipmunk this thing. I just chipmunked it up, man. So,
I'm sure that must have been great with the narrator doing high pitched British voices.
It was like Wensleydale,
Yeah.
So I was like, but your brain does adjust.
Right.
So now I'm listening to a new book on normal speed because I don't absolutely hate it.
And now it's too slow.
I'm like, this is too slow, dude.
Yep.
I might have to go to 1.25 or something.
Hey, man, that's just the speed we're all traveling at in this modern era.
But no, it it was weird because the few things I didn't really enjoy the book.
Right.
It's okay, it's fine. It's just it's too flat. It's like it's just too
Too flowery, and
loquacious, flowery,
Yeah.
self-indulgent. There's too many plot lines going on. The entire Agnes Nutter prophecy thing with Amantha and Newt and the Witchfinder. Who cares?
Yeah, I gotta say, like,
That
I
whole
did.
thing could just be wiped out.
I liked I liked the whole thing, but I do have to admit my main interest was in the two main characters, like in both the
Of
show
course.
and the book. Like that's your strength, and I still really like the Four Horsemen stuff, less so in the show.
No, I can't believe they destroyed it in the show, man.
It was,
But that was a very American Godsy feel.
I meant
weirdness to it.
I meant to ask you about that because
That's basically it.
Yeah.
They were
So
like,
is this
"Yo,
show very similar to American Gods?
No, well, so the treatment of the Four Horsemen is very close to the way that they kind of made the television show version of American Gods,
Gotcha.
where you're famine and you're poor and you're Zeus and you're this and you're new media, you're the god of technology, and like
Right.
that's the same weird feel. And I was pretty bummed that they kind of, one of my favorite scenes is the new horsemen that they kind of recruit,
Right.
and they're deciding which of absolute shit thing about life are you going to be the horseman of, and the shtick is that the one guy can't decide, so he just keeps changing it, over and over again. Do you remember that section?
Yeah, it's the biker gang that was like joining up with the
Right.
Four Horsemen, and
Yes.
they're like, what's it, cruelty to animals, something.
He's like cool people at the mall, or
Right.
something, you know what I mean? He just keeps changing
Oh.
things that annoy him, and non-alcoholic beer.
Right.
Like he just becomes the horseman of things that bother him.
And I didn't notice until I was watching the show, but that made a kind of interesting parallel to the 1700s witch burners, like what's his name, Newton Pulsifer, like his great grandfather was "Thou shalt not commit adultery, Pulsifer." So it's like the bikers are kind of, the parallel of the Puritans or whoever they were. Yeah. Yeah, like little things like that I thought were cool. Yeah, I agree. Interestingly enough, I think in both the show and the book, the thing I was least interested in was Adam. Not from the concept, but I just kind of wanted them to do something more with the little friend group. Like they have this little Goonies gang, them, and I feel like none of them. I don't know what you could do with it. I feel like just as when Adam was starting to kind of like get the hang of his powers, the book ended, and I felt like there was like so much more you could do with it. Like the whole his fantasies and all the stuff him that he read from the magazine being personified into life was interesting, but when it came to actually like interacting with the other kids, like I really didn't like the other kid characters. Like they all felt very like one-dimensional and annoying. Like there's basically the tomboy girl, the nerdy kid, and then like Ben doesn't even have a character trait. His character trait is he's dirty.
Was his name Brian? Was it Brian?
Yeah,
or Ben?
so
I don't even know, man.
so
That's how we
forgettable.
can't even remember. Yeah.
So that was the one thing. Like, and like I felt like I kind of got what they were doing with Adam very early on, and they kind of just kept on going back to it without adding that much to it.
Yeah.
I never fully understood his turn too. Like I think he realized like he still wanted to be a kid in the end when he was like seeming to be on the cusp of becoming the Antichrist or whatever. But I never fully bought it. Like he just kind of like suddenly turns, and that's probably the biggest beef I have with both the story and the series in general is felt like there's all this build up and there's all these characters, and I do like the journey there, but it really did feel like, and I feel like this happens with a lot of epic stories, but this one in particular, even though I know Adam's power is to basically like wave his hand and things disappear, but that's really what it felt like happened. Like the whole last episode kind of really dragged for me because it felt like they wrapped it up in the first 10 minutes, and then it's just like 40 minutes of character wrap up. And
Yeah, and then they had the very weird twist, because that wasn't in the book, right? I'm not misremembering it, where they get mutually sort of arrested by
oh yeah, that's not
their own side. That's not in the book, right?
Yeah, they definitely added that, which I agree, it was kind of strange. Like I was really happy that they were like going to do a 6-episode series of this, and I think we had been talking before about like oh yeah, they need to do more shows that are just like, instead of 10 or 12 or 14 episodes, just like 6 episodes, one and done, cut out the chuffa, etc., etc. And like this one was good and lean, but yeah, you could have made it 4, maybe like less or something. It basically could have been a movie, or a long movie, 2-part miniseries or something like that.
I think you cut out. I mean, going back to the book, even just there's so much weird subplot that I was like, why we're just wasting time with this. The whole story is the 2 angels, and then they're trying to find this kid, and then the TV version, Amazon's version, was like, no, let's get more just shit in there. Let's get John Hamm in there for some reason. Let's create, we've already got like Haster and the Dukes of Hell and some of that, but like let's add more people into it, which I thought was just so lazy. Like the way they did the angels and the demons, I just thought was
you didn't like the frogs and iguanas on their heads or whatever.
What are you doing? I was like, this looks terrible.
Yeah.
Well, why is the main character so different than all the other demons? Right? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, wouldn't they all be badass, slick, running around looking like Keanu Reeves, running around in the Matrix type shit?
Right. I mean, they never spell it out, and I'm not sure how much into detail they go, but I kind of got the impression, I don't know if it was supposed to be Crowley's like the only. It's weird because like it's like Crowley and Aziraphale seem like they're kind of like the Watchmen hanging out on Earth, and they're both supposed to be doing deeds of good and evil intermittently, but they also have other demons that pop in every now and then to tempt someone or help someone. And yeah, they never really spell out like what the hierarchical duty is, or how this bureaucratic afterlife works or whatever. But I feel like that's kind of like, how like most afterlife stories these days are somehow analogous to some sort of bureaucratic company or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, is that our modern interpretation for what the afterlife is? Like, we always have some sort of plot with like paperwork getting screwed up, or it's not my job, not my department, or something like that. So
right. Because what is it like? Even from stuff like Monsters Inc. that's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Unto what's the new show with Harry Potter where Gary
with Steve Buscemi's God.
Steve Buscemi's God. It's on
kind
TBS.
Of the same thing. Yeah. Like. I don't know. I always kind of wonder about that because I think people do that for one reason, because it's really practical. Like, you can actually film that. You just do that in an office building or whatever. But I just feel like it's almost become ubiquitous or something. Like, almost every time you see a version of the afterlife and it's like somewhat comedic, it's always something like, oh, hey, heaven's not all it's cracked up to be. There's sometimes paperwork gets lost in the shuffle, or sorry, I kind of forgot where I was going with that, but
no, it's I just think there was just too much going on. That's the general theme of the book.
Well, okay,
for me, my biggest takeaway from both is that just it's too ambitious.
Yeah. Okay, so was there anything like, especially show compared to the book, was there like, did you like one more than the other, or did you think there was improvements, or anything in particular?
No, so because Ash is the control subject. She
Right.
didn't read the book, and she could not follow the series.
What the hell was going on? Yeah,
she's like, what's going on? Who is this guy? What is he doing?
Yeah, I was wondering.
What is he doing? Like,
Yeah.
this person is what is the Witchfinder's arc? You know, like he's just a douchebag, and then they want him to kill someone, and then he just marries the old
Anathema.
no, the
Oh, he marries the
woman of the night,
Miss Marbury or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought the actress who played her was great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they got a good cast for it. The actress who played her is Miranda Richardson, who's like an actual actress. Like she's like a big name and everything. I was surprised she was like I didn't realize she was old enough to play the role, but I hadn't seen her in anything in a few years. But yeah, she was great considering that like the whole like last episode or two is on her. And
pretty much, I didn't. Martin, what's his last name? Sheen, opposite David Tennant.
Oh, Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen. I didn't dig it.
Yeah, I was definitely more into David Tennant than I was Michael Sheen. I thought Michael Sheen did a good job. Like, I mean, it's also kind of like, you know, Crowley's the cool one. Like, you're right. Aziraphale is such a fucking nerd that you're, no one's going to be like, ooh, I mean, I guess some people will be, but like, I feel like David Tennant's going to take the cake with that always. But no, I agree. I feel like I could have been a little bit more charmed by him, and I wasn't quite as much as I thought it was going to be. But I still thought the two of them were pretty solid. Like, they're in my opinion, they're both for sure the best performances in the show. Let me see who else.
Did you like John Hamm?
John Hamm was good. I think his purple contacts kept on weirding me out. Like I kept on having.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's his eyes. I think were like supposed to be so blue. They were like pretty much purple. If you like look closely, I kind of had to keep doing double takes. But yeah, he was cool. The one thing I noticed too with him and Frances McDormand as well. Like there's something I noticed it watching Black Mirror sometimes is there's something about if the screenplay is written by somebody who's British, but an American actor is reading it in an American accent, and there's little things. It's not even necessarily words, but just phrases that you wouldn't say. Totally. And like, it always kind of like something in my brain, it like doesn't click well with me. Why didn't they get, literally anyone else to do? And one of my big, I just didn't dig it. I love Frances McDormand, but I didn't like the change that the narrator became God, who's supposed to be a character in the whole thing, but is kind of spoken about, but never seen or never really. Right. I didn't like that choice. Yeah. I think it took some of the oomph out of it. Right, because you're personifying them. You're giving basically a something to that identity. So, and it's strange too because the narrator only like comes out and says they're God, like in like 2 lines or something like that. Like it's such a small change to change the context totally and everything like that.
Yeah. No, but it is crazy. I don't know if you noticed, but like the when they go to the airbase in the series. Uh-huh. And they meet the American soldier. Uh-huh. That is the most brutal, like worst American accent I've ever heard. And the Brits have no problem doing American accents.
Yeah. So why did you find the one guy who
you couldn't find a guy that I was like, what are you? What were you trying to go for? Go back, people. Everyone listening, go back and listen to this poor guy. He's the guard standing outside the airbase questioning the 4 horsemen first as they drive in, and then when the kids arrive. And listen to him talk, and you won't, your brain will come to a screeching halt. I couldn't get over it. I was like, this is so bad. I loved Nick Offerman. He wasn't in it enough.
Yeah,
he as kind of the diplomat, whatever. He's in it for 2 episodes or something.
Yeah, and 2 minutes,
just little scenes.
Yeah, but when I saw his name come up on the opening credits, I was like, he's got to be the diplomat. He was that was the only role that made sense for him. Yeah, and they had a few What did you think of the Four Horsemen? I want to hear your take on it.
No, I just didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was so weird. They went and got what's her name from The Killing to be
Muriel Enos. Is that?
I don't know.
I wasn't.
And then
yeah.
I didn't. I just
Well, it's like it could have been cool. Like the one thing is like I feel like one of the things that's built up a lot more in the book is the Four Horsemen assembling, and I thought it was kind of excessive.
Oh, God.
It was definitely excessive.
It was that. I mean, that was what I'm talking.
That
It's
was
just
my
chapters.
favorite part of the book. Is all the the Four Horsemen stuff was kind of interesting at least. But it went on quite a bit, and then like something about like when they were in the show, it just felt campier. Like it was, when they all start growing teeth and.
Yep.
Like, for the most part, like it was weird because I even saw like Brian Cox was supposed to be Death, and when he showed up, it still felt kind of lame.
Was he just the voice of Death?
Yeah,
Because it wasn't him.
No,
him in
no
a
way
suit
you're
or
getting him in prosthetics on a motorcycle.
No, but just let him. Yeah, just let him be a little old fat man. You know what I mean? Just
yeah. I mean, that'd be cool. That dude, he's almost like 80 now. I think he's not going anywhere unless you're paying him quite a bit.
Pay the man. But I don't know. Any other major beef differences?
No, not really. I mean, I didn't, like I said, I thought the story wrapped up a little too quick in the book, and then I thought that was more apparent in the movie. Like the whole thing at the end, like when Satan pops up with what's his name, Sherlock, voicing him, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, Cumberbatch.
Yeah, like that part. I think it was actually like I had my issues with the series, but I was pretty on board with it for the most part. But that was the one part where I was like kind of checked out and felt like the show was on autopilot and everything. Aside from that, I think I totally see where you're coming from, and like I agree. I think it is a little too flowery and kind of goes all over the place, but that is also that's what they do with these types of stories a lot of time, and I kind of like the cast, and I thought it was I laughed a decent amount too. Like there was a lot of witty stuff in it, but yeah, I agree. It was a little too slow, didn't add up to enough, and the side plots were a little excessive. But
are you gonna read the sequel when further prophecies of Agnes Nutter?
Oh no! Well, I heard that before Terry Pratchett died, they were working on a sequel to this, and I think that's why they added John Hamm's character into it and a few other things, because they were characters from the sequel. Like apparently the whole deal was. Both Pratchett and Gaiman had been trying to get this made into a movie for years, and then tried to get it made into a TV show for years, and they couldn't get any traction on it for the longest time, and then Gaiman got busy because he had other projects getting off the ground, and then Pratchett died, and I think Gaiman was going to give up on it, but then Pratchett sent him a letter posthumously saying, like, hey, you had my permission to make the show, and I guess that within the next few months they were able to get the show made. So I do think that is kind of sweet that it's kind of like they made this thing together, and I guess it's clearly supposed to be, it was a passion project of Pratchett's. So on a friendship level, it's kind of cool that Gaiman was able to do that for him, and special to them. Like I feel like a little bit of that comes through. But
I'm just bummed that Terry Gilliam didn't get to make it.
I know it was so in Terry Gilliam's wheelhouse, and God, I just so want him to make another great movie sometime soon.
Did you see the Don Quixote movie?
I mean, I think it was in like theaters for 2 nights or something like that. So I didn't get a chance.
I'm sure it'll be on Amazon Prime in like 18 days from now.
Yes, something like that. I feel like it's gonna be so after 20 years of build up, like kind of disappointing, which unfortunately happens with his movies a lot. I don't know if I'm
disappointed in a Terry Gilliam movie.
I mean, he's got so much creativity and brilliance and stuff, but talking about, he's kind of like Neil Gaiman, like you're saying. He probably does better when somebody can rein him in a bit, but
It's crazy because he's a little bit like George Lucas in that the technology caught up to his acid trip brain, and it just didn't help at all.
oh yeah,
You know what I
well,
mean?
it's the fucking Tim Burton thing. It's the like as soon as all these great, brilliant directors get, somebody shows them a fucking CG animated character, and it's all downhill from there. It's all everything.
Well, because they all hate actors, and they're like, great, now I don't have to deal with actors.
Well,
Perfect.
I think too, it's like, oh hey, we can spend half our budget trying to make these, intricately designed life-size mannequins, or we can hire like 2 graphic artists to do it, and do it for a tenth of that budget and not pay them enough. like, yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to money and time these days, and it just sucks for these artisanal directors that are all aging out of the game and everything. One day,
Boy, Ridley Scott's still hanging in there.
holy fucking
you know what
shit!
I mean?
He's gonna make 12 more Alien movies.
He's like, I'll make you an Alien movie for $38.
And then when you hear interviews with him too, and just like the conversation, just it's like kind of like interviews with Ozzy Osbourne. It's like rambling, and you kind of wonder if they're senile by the end of it. And,
No, I think Ridley Scott is weirdly smart. You know what I mean, about all the crazy Blade Runner stuff and all the man. He knows what's up. He can sniff out the franchises, and he's just going home into his craziness. You know what I mean? He was trying to do Robin Hood. He was trying to do like Merlin stuff. He was trying to do all kinds of his TV productions. I mean, I think he likes to play the crazy old man, but he must be making just bank behind the scenes with all his production companies and nonsense.
God. Yeah, and gotta hand it to the guy, just being able to like walk to all the different meetings he must take to be in charge of all those different companies.
I love he's kind of like a pompous asshole, but I dig it. You know what I mean? He's just like, yeah, all right. You don't want to do it? Perfect.
He's
fine, whatever.
Old and has been on top of his game for going on 50 years now, and if you ever need more not give a fuck attitude than being rich and on top of tops in your field, also being on death's door probably just adds to that. Like, yeah, I'll be an asshole, I don't give a shit, I could die tomorrow. Like,
yeah, no, I love his junket interviews because he's just like, yeah, I don't know,
yeah.
But, get out there and live like Ridley Scott out there, folks.
Yeah,
that's my advice.
Find yourself a gay android and make him king
the
of
star
the aliens.
of
king of
several
3 movies.
films.
Yeah.
Go get you a Fassbender.
Find you one of them Fassbenders. You'll be all right.
There you go. All right. Well.
Yeah.
Anything else to add? What do you got going on? I saw Godzilla. It was.
Yeah. What's
X-Men.
your
Did you see X-Men?
Oh God, no. No, I Godzilla I was considering, but X-Men, like the rest of America, I was like, nah, that doesn't look good.
And Godzilla was just far too long.
Really?
It was just I fell asleep.
Yeah.
I think I almost fell asleep. Ash fell asleep for sure.
Damn.
And it was like we went to a 1:00 movie.
Really?
Yeah, and we were about like falling asleep.
Did it at least
too
have
damn long.
a good amount of like monsters in it, and like the first one?
Yeah, no, I think it had a good amount of monsters, but you're just like,
you just kind of get numb to it after a while.
You just don't understand the plot makes no sense.
Right.
It's just I don't want to get into it. It's
another podcast for another day.
Oh, I'm probably not. Yeah, I want to hear you just absolutely eviscerate Dark Phoenix whenever we get around to watching it.
Yeah, I mean that's I feel might as well join on the dog pile with the rest of the world and shitting on that movie. Yeah.
How bad can it be? And,
Yeah, I know. I'm just I'm more curious where they're gonna go. Like, what the hell is Disney gonna do? Are they just gonna burn it all down and start fresh, or what?
I don't know, man.
I feel like they're just gonna recast everyone but Ryan Reynolds, and then blah blah blah. There's been some sort of interdimensional teleportation of these mutants into the Marvel universe, and now all of our properties are in one franchise.
Or just reboot them and reboot them.
Yeah. I think I bet you they'll reboot them, but
no, but just like give me the present day timeline.
Oh yeah.
None of this weird. Just get rid of it all.
The nonsensical. All the X-Men should be in their 60s. Like,
For sure.
Professor X is like, what, 110 years old?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well,
But yeah, I'm sure there's something else. The summer is long, and there's many movies out. We got the new Ari Aster movie coming out soon, and
Midsummer.
Sure, there's got to be some other big tent poles coming out this summer, so I'm sure
we'll get after it when I'm not at Galaxy's Edge. I'll go grab. Is anyone on the East Coast talking about Galaxy's Edge or no?
Yes, though it's more internet videos and people talking about the future plans that they've made to go, like the reservations they've got, but have not gotten to see yet.
I'm too close to it. I'm in the bubble. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I'm just so jaded by it now.
Are you sick of it now, or is it still?
No,
magical?
yeah, no. I'm almost like, all right, yeah, okay. Like we had a reservation on Sunday. We didn't even go to.
Oh wow.
I'm so jilted. I'm just blasé to it, or that I could have gone and just decided. I was like, nah. I'll just sleep.
Is it the fact that it's so close and easily accessible, or
absolutely,
okay,
absolutely.
Well, shit, la-di-da, Mr. California.
Well, I'm just saying, what are you doing? Come on out, bro. Come on out. You know what I mean? It's like people that live here don't go to the beach.
Right.
Right. It's there every damn day. They drive by it, they wave at it or whatever. But people come to us. The world revolves around what's going on out here, bro.
The Star
World.
World.
So,
yeah.
Why do they think they opened the Star Wars jam out here?
I mean,
so
it's where all the coolest people are, obviously.
Absolutely. Me, Tom Cruise, Bieber. Who else?
That's it.
That's it.
Just you three.
And that's it. And we all live on the same street.
Oh, right.
Tom's right down the hall.
Oh, hey,
if
Tom.
I need to borrow some sugar, I wave. I'm out mowing my lawn. He's out mowing his.
Oh, man, it sounds like a charmed life.
Oh, it is pretty wild. The streets are paved with gold out here, my friend.
Right. And you guys just have Tauntauns, right? Like, all the Star Wars stuff.
Well, not anymore. I gave mine away to a poor kid.
That's sweet of you. Very sweet.
I was tired of him, so I just gave him away.
Man, you just giving Tauntauns away.
No, I gave my disgusting Galaxy's Edge popcorn to a lady, and I never felt so alive. I was just like, here you go. Here's this trash popcorn. She was so thrilled.
Did you just get the popcorn so you could keep the robot?
Absolutely. But I also wanted to try the popcorn, and it tasted like absolute dog shit. Ash described the taste comparable to crayons.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't even think crayons. I think that's more of the texture mouthfeel. It tastes more like stale fruit cereal, like Fruit Loops or Fruity Pebble. It tastes awful. So don't get that popcorn.
So it's fruity popcorn or something.
It's horrible. But it's spicy too.
Oh, what?
So there's parts that are spicy. There's parts that are. Oh, dude. And I'm not talking about spicy like, I had a spice cake and it tastes like gingerbread. No. I'm talking like, you're like, ugh, what is that? It's like chocolate and ketchup.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? It's like, you're just like, what are we doing? I rant about it. Ash and I have done 2 videos now you can find on the channel. I'm sure they'll be linked at the end of this, and you can kind of, see our experiences doing the whole thing, doing the lightsabers, the fireworks, a Millennium Falcon ride. Our biggest pro tip so far: find yourself a gentleman who's completely paralyzed to ride the ride with, because he doesn't want to be the pilot, and it'll take them so long to get him into the chair that you'll get to ride it twice.
Wow.
So that was our experience Friday night, and I tell you, it was awesome. I'm just, what do you say? I'm just saying, if you ever have the chance, try to set it up, try to arrange it. You know what I mean? But we did, No, I don't want to say I'm a hero, but I mean the man wanted us to stay on for the second ride because someone had to fly the damn ship.
I'm glad you took that duty.
No, exactly. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like we had to do our duty, make sure this guy had a pleasant trip, pleasant ride. This poor guy, he he was in the back of the ship. We tried to get him up into the front of the ship. And he was like, "Oh no, it'll take too long to move me." He was like a young guy, he's like, I don't know, in his mid-20s.
Right.
Late 20s, maybe something like that. And we were like, "Dude, come on, man, let's fly this thing. I'll drive. I'll do both sides. The left and the right, you have to work together to fly it up and down and left and right."
Right.
And I was like, "Bro, I can handle both if you want to park up here and sit in here." He was like, "No, it's okay, man. Oh, it's okay."
So was he doing the gun or something the whole time?
He couldn't do anything. No, he was just rocking and rolling.
Well, shit. That's so cool that you're able to offer and everything like that. But yeah, that does seem like, based on the video from the like little 4-year-olds steering you guys into the wall constantly the whole time. That was the first flight.
Yeah, we had disinterested to scared kids kind of flying the ship the first time we flew it. So, as you do, you know what I mean?
What was the other? Did you guys ever get that little robot guy working?
No, we didn't get him working yet. I went and talked to a lady, and she was trying to explain how to hard reset him and how to like repair the remote and all this stuff, but he still doesn't work. So we're just like, we're gonna have to bring him back.
You need to send away for more Energon cubes or.
Well, I was like, it's a nightmare. I'm like, hey lady, talk to me like a human being. I'm not 6. I don't give a shit. Clearly. Like, I just bought this thing. Can you help me fix it? I don't care about the Disney magic. I'm the least magical person you're ever going to meet, dude. Let's just rock and roll, baby. Let's just do this, Like, I'm not a narc. You can break character for me. I'm genuinely, like, just trying to get this problem solved.
This $20 Earth currency fell out from my wallet. Will that help your translation?
I'm like,
pods?
No, I'm like, lady, just come on, dude. You're from, Santa Ana, California. No one cares. Let's just, I know you're all so like worried about losing your coveted prize job, in Star Wars land or something, but like. And let me just say this, if Star Wars Land is like the cream of the crop, I think that's what they went out and got like the best Disney people.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
Well, think about it. I bet you they have, I don't know, studio auditions or whatever, and that's the.
No, I think you did have to do some jig for getting to be able to go to Batuu.
And there's like so many poor recent acting school graduates like hoping to get their big break or I don't even know hoping to get their big break, but like I feel like
the guy on the popcorn line was basically, I was like, oh, Ash, is this your dream to be a carnival barker at Disney World trying to pull people into the line for popcorn?
But it's on Tatooine.
No, man. Wrong planet, bro. Wrong planet. Disney, in all its wisdom, decided to invent a new planet that no one cares about, fill it with things no one cares about, and characters no one cares about.
Are these all things that are going to be in the next movie or something? Or?
I don't know. It's the only thing anyone cares about is the Millennium Falcon. Right. And then you got Chewie running around, taking photos, whatever. But like, you got they just the time they said it. I mean, believe me, I could go on, but it's just the time period that they decided to. I was like, okay, like it's.
Oh yeah,
it's Disney Star Wars Land. If you loved the Disney Star Wars movies, this is for you. You'll love it.
Gotcha.
But if you love the Emperor and the Rebels and actual Star Wars, then there ain't no rebel, nothing. There's no empire. There's
They still have slave Leia bikinis in the gift shop, though, right?
oh
right?
no, absolutely not.
No!
Absolutely not. No, you can get your Jedi robes, and you can get your. They'll sell you the things you're not really allowed to wear. You're not allowed to dress up.
Oh, but you buy the stuff.
But you can buy like Jedi robes and all that nonsense, and you can even buy stormtrooper, like full on stormtrooper armor.
Wow!
But you can't wear it there.
I mean, I think that probably I could see that getting very confusing if you work there, and you know what I mean. it's like needle in a cosplay pit kind of thing.
No, it is weird because there's people that you're like, I can't quite tell if you're
if you're working here
or not.
Do you just dress like you are from another planet, or
no? Because they're like, yeah, it's very odd. So it's you have people that are wearing vests and like a name tag, and they're clearly like selling popcorn or soda or whatever. And then you have other people that are like a little bit higher level, where they're like running around as like cast actors,
right?
Kind of, they're not really selling merchandise, or they're not
they're
working.
ambiance for the whatever.
And then you have the people that are being like, I'm Rey and I'm Kylo. You have like different tiers,
specific character. And so do they only have like? Do they only have one Chewbacca running in the grounds at all time? It's not like you're gonna have like two Chewbaccas or two Reys run into each other at the same time and ruin some kids'
we've
imagination?
seen two different Reys.
Oh my god!
Yeah. No, but not at once. Like on we've gone several times.
Oh, so different people playing Rey on different days. So that like I was just thinking like you don't have some 4-year-old getting like a time cop scenario and like having their childhood shattered or whatever.
No, like it was great because the first Rey we saw several people try to stop her and take pictures, and she was like, "Nope. Can't go it. I can't stop. Oh, I can't draw attention." She said something to them. But it was just like fat Comic-Con guys that are like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And she's like, "No, the resistance is near, or the First Order could see us or something."
Yes. And I will.
And then she was, yeah, exactly. And she's carrying around that big F staff, you know what I mean? So she's not about it. And the second one was a little bit nicer. She actually was like, she walked by Ash and she's like, "Hey guys," and we were like, "Oh hey, what's up?" Mm-hmm. You know, but that one a lot more friendly. Chewie's out there running around.
Yeah,
we haven't seen any. We haven't seen Kylo Ren. We haven't seen any of those guys. We saw stormtroopers once. They came over and yelled at us.
Oh, nice.
That's and we're cool. Like, yeah, it was kind of cool. It's weird because you're like, it's just some guy in a suit, but you're kind of intimidated.
I mean, you're not used to having any of the characters like yell at you. That's kind of a nice dynamic. It sounds almost a little bit more like the Halloween park experience, like King's Dominion or whatever.
Exactly. Yes,
like they'll fuck with you, so that makes it something new and interesting.
Yeah, no, because I don't typically get intimidated by other people too much, and just because I'm a larger gentleman who's done a lot of fighting and nonsense and MMA training and all that stuff, I don't really care. And the stormtrooper comes up to me and he gets right in my grill and he's just like, "What are you doing here? Are you allowed to be here?" And I'm like, And he goes to Ash, he goes, "Well, you're a level 2 threat. We're keeping an eye on you," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh shit!" I was kind of relieved they left because I was like, I don't want them. I'm standing in line I think I was standing in line to build a droid or something with Ash, and I was like, "Oh, please don't come over here. Oh God, I don't want." It's like my nightmare is the happy birthday song at like TGI Fridays.
Right.
That is the same feeling of like the stormtroopers come and talk to you. Everyone's watching, they're filming and stuff. And I'm like, God. I don't want to be on the internet, as like, some, the guy getting yelled at by stormtroopers. So.
Oh God. That's awesome.
But yeah, come on out, bro. We'll see if we can slide you in.
That'd be cool, man. I was thinking when you were telling that story, what I wouldn't give to be in on one of those training sessions just to see what those people fucking have to be prepared for.
Well, I was trying to figure it out. Do you have any insight into how the stormtroopers work, where it's like I've read people use hand controls inside the suit to cue different phrases.
Oh, so it's never
like,
actually their voice or whatever?
It's not their voice. No, it's like a professional actor.
That makes more sense.
And it's a canned phrase. But they go up to like a little girl and they'll say things that are very case specific.
Right.
Not just ambiguous that it could be applied to anyone. Like they'll go up to a little kid, they'll go up to a little kid dressed as a stormtrooper, and they'll have something to say.
Interesting.
So I'm like, how are they how many of these could they possibly have? And I know you're probably screaming into your iPad or however you're listening to this that I'm a complete fucking moron, that I don't know how this works, but hit me in the comments if you can explain to me
we're genuinely
how the hell this
interested.
works. No, I tried to like Google it and I didn't find anything.
Or if we can get an anonymous tip from somebody on the Disneyland
On the
Underground.
inside.
Yeah.
Please hook it up. That would be great.
Give us all the dirt.
I want the first fired stormtrooper appear anonymously on the show with like a voice modulator.
Give me the testimony of drunk Jar Jar Binks or whoever.
Exactly. So, yeah. But yeah, it's fun. So we've got a couple of videos. You can kind of watch them. Ash and I run around and
yeah, they're good stuff. I highly recommend them.
Yeah. So we're trying to do the Lord's work out here.
Yeah, you're having fun for everyone else. To show them all the fun they're missing.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to throw up in one of the times I was there, so I soldiered on.
Burning rubber, man. That's what Disneyland's all about.
Dude, they pump that smell into that room, dude. I swear to God, it won't last. I swear the Disney moms or whoever, whatever mad against
somebody's
Disney
gonna have an
moms
allergic reaction to it or something.
Some kid is gonna die, man. And it ain't gonna be on my watch. You know what I mean? I was the first one. Shouting about Hitler and Czechoslovakia, you know what I mean? And then, in 1939, at the, I'm calling this shit out early.
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here first. Mark the timestamp. That rubber smell isn't gonna last. I guarantee it. So get it while you can. Get in there.
Yeah.
And enjoy it and dry heave over to the side of the awning like I did.
If you bring a few plastic bags and then just seal them, you could probably sell them on eBay for something.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started
especially if they
eBay
discontinue it,
the shit that they're selling on eBay from Star Wars Land is insane.
Like,
the sporks that they're stealing from the restaurant. I think they discontinued the spork.
Are they special sporks?
No, it's just metal. It's just, I guess it's special because it's a weird shape thing. It's made of metal.
Okay.
And people just steal them. So they stopped, I think, putting them out because just so many people were stealing them.
Jesus.
But they're selling them on eBay. They're selling like their wristbands. People are buying other people's wristbands from I'm like, what are you doing?
Wow.
People are just, they're, stuff that costs like $15, they're selling for $50. They're selling lightsabers for hundreds of dollars. I mean, Jesus. It's just absolute insanity. And I'm like, ugh. I can't be bothered to get in on it, but I feel like a sucker.
You could be making tens of dollars.
I'm too lazy. I'm just exactly, tens of dollars. No, it's insane, dude. So like, the holy grail of Star Wars Land is the do you know the Kyber crystals? Do you know this? Or I don't know how deep you go.
The shit that they use to make lightsabers?
Yes. Okay. So you can go and you can put different Kyber crystals into your lightsaber that you make, and you can buy them. You can and put them in these holocrons, so they give you different just little voice things. It's cool. And they're $15, like the little crystals. And there's a black one that is super rare, and I went day 2.
Is it?
So
is it kind of random? Okay. Is it like, I don't know, like
it's not random, but it's inside the red containers. Oh. There's red crystals. Every once in a while, there's a black one in there.
Okay.
And so they're super rare. And then word got out that they existed because we didn't even know that was a thing. Otherwise, I would have been tearing them apart looking for them.
Right.
Because they're pretty easy. If you flash your light, the light from your cell phone into the container, you can kind of tell it looks black.
Okay.
And so I remember watching a YouTube video later that day. It had 200 views. Now it has like 200 50,000 views. How to find one.
Wow.
But people are selling them for $500 on eBay.
Oh my god.
So I mean, it's like if I had known that existed, I would have torn the place apart. Because people were like, "Oh yeah, I found one, and then I figured out how to find one, and then I found another one, so I just now I have two." And I'm like, "You son of a bitch!" I just want it for the collection. You know what I mean? Right. Like, I don't want to sell it, but
you never get the golden ticket to the
I know, man.
Krylon Crystal Factory.
It's insanity. So. We made a deal in the last video. If you subscribe to the channel, Ash will sell it. We'll just send you whatever. You know what I mean? So if you want kyber crystals or nonsense, the best thing I saw is the guy is selling his. So what he's selling is he will go make a lightsaber for you and sell it to you.
Oh my god, really?
So for $350.
Oh, doesn't it cost like $200?
It costs $200. So imagine this. Ugh. He's going to go to Disney's. He's going to go to the Star Wars land. You pay him $350. He goes and pays $200 to have a magical experience building a lightsaber. And then he just sends it to you.
I mean, good for him.
Talk about industrious.
Yeah, good for him, because there's clearly people that will do that, which is just ridiculous. But who's it for? Is it like, if you're already shelling out $350 to get a lightsaber, is it that far of a jump to a plane ticket to the West Coast so you can do it in person?
No, it's crazy, because when we went in, Ash actually built the lightsabers, like her whole deal. And there was one child in the entire group. Everyone else is adult. Mm-hmm. And we're in our early 30s. The majority of everyone in there were guys like our dad's age.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like 40s, 50s, 60s of guys, old guys making
Star Wars fans.
OG Star Wars fans, yep. So it was pretty wild.
Well, so of the makeup of people that you saw there, would you say it kind of skewed more towards OG Star Wars fans, or is it kind of just more your typical Disney crowd, or is there anything different?
So no, like it's a weird crowd, because there's a lot of kids, but not really. Like, this is clearly
like an adult baby,
an adult thing. Yes, like clearly, like. It's like, I've seen plenty of kids, whatever, but not like Disneyland. If you go to Disneyland, you see kids everywhere. It's for kids.
Right.
Star Wars Land is not. Like, it's mostly adults, and it's the same adults that you see at Disney, where the morbidly obese,
right.
Riding scooters,
right,
fanny
right.
packs, backpacks, cankles, visors, sweaty, just unwashed masses. The same thing you see everywhere, but
just more.
And that's the thing. I'm gonna bitch slap the next person who tells me they feel like they're in Star Wars. You're not. You're surrounded by Walmart people that are just in Star Wars land. You don't feel like you're in Star Wars. You're hearing some chick get yelled at because
do you feel like
so and so dropped a can?
Are you in a Walmart on another planet at least?
Yes,
or is it...
exactly. No, exactly. I feel like I'm in a Walmart in another world. So they have achieved that. You're so immersed. You believe you're at a sweaty Target, in Batu, in a galaxy far, far away.
Spending $200 for a shitty lightsaber.
Exactly. So congratulations to Disney.
Oh man,
they have done it.
And
they should require, if they really wanted to create that experience, then they should. You go to a restaurant, they require a jacket, a tie. Make these people dress up. If you want to do that, go ahead. But, have a dress code. Because the whole ambiance is ruined, by the tank tops and the jorts and, the sweaty, smelly flip-flops that are flapping and clapping up and down the streets of the marketplace and everything. So,
well, didn't you guys were you guys still only in the trial viewings or whatever? Like, you didn't get the full brunt of when they open it all the way up, right?
No, so then it will be undoable.
Yeah.
Like, what we're doing is the reservation period where only so many people can go.
Right. Yeah, like they herded
like,
you in groups, right?
Yes, you get a 4-hour chunk, and then you're supposed to leave. You cannot do anything. They will not let you do anything if you don't have the right color wristband. You can't ride the rides. They just go. They just you're persona non grata. You are John Wick. You are excommunicado. You're just done. So they just apparently that's what the idea is.
Gotcha.
But we have not experienced that because we left early the first time, and the second time was midnight when we got out, so they weren't doing anything anyway. They were all closed. So we haven't done a midday shift where we really kind of see if they will just stop, and turn their nose up on you and whatever.
Right.
Yeah, we saw. I was like, it's an imperfect system for sure. And then once the reservation period ends later this month in June, it will be it'll be Chernobyl in there. You know what I mean? You can't go.
And it'll be like a third world country.
Oh,
for
it's
like
going to
the
be
next 2
Mogadishu
years
in there.
or
You just
something.
can't. You just can't do it. So we're kind of getting all the stuff we wanted or the experiential things. We're gonna
Just
we've
get it
got
out of the way
I think,
now.
Yeah, we've got one more reservation for sure. I think the 21st. You know what I mean? Before the fracas, they just let all the crowds in, the riffraff. So we're trying to get what we can out of it, and I think we've done a pretty good job. You know what I mean? But we kind of wanted to, do it as God intended, without 1,000,000 people in there.
Well, at least you were one of the few. You always have the videos and, I mean, shit.
And the memories.
Yeah, I definitely. If you didn't sell me on going before, I'm definitely not going now. So.
Well, if you can get here if you can be here in like 10 days when we go back, I think you'll have a good time. But you might as well just go to Florida.
Yeah,
it's closer.
Are they going to have one in Florida?
Yeah. They're opening it in like August, late August. Just go to Florida.
Oh, okay.
And you just got to deal with Orlando.
That's fine.
But other than that, where would you rather go? Southern California or Orlando?
I mean, I've never been to Southern California Disneyland.
I'll answer for you. It's Southern
Orlando.
California.
Yeah. Oh, is it Southern California? Okay.
Well, where does Tom Cruise live? Me and Tom Cruise live here.
I mean, Tom Cruise has houses all over this great nation.
Not Orlando. I bet not in Orlando.
I bet you he lives inside Mickey Mouse's head in the center
right,
of Disneyland.
Epcot Center. He lives right in Epcot Center inside the giant snow globe.
He's deep inside the bowels of Magic Mountain. He's actually in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride if you look real close. He's great. He's that committed to his craft.
Oh, Tom. I hope Tom, honestly, he has like a clone that lives up front and does the movies, and then the real Tom Cruise is like 3,000 miles in the center of the earth in some just giant cavernous bunker.
He's
waiting out the end of the world with the rest of the lizard people or something.
Yeah. He expelled all of his Thetans, and he's the only one who's worthy to...
Shit, maybe they took him home,
Yeah, you never know.
When you reach level 20,000...
Yeah. Umpteen million.
They just beam you on up.
Yeah. And then they give you the robotic clone so you can just keep on, churning out action movies on autopilot.
This is the Travolta 7.
Yeah. Yes. This one's malfunctioning a bit, but it's okay.
Send a new replacement for Travolta.
They just always keep on going to the bathhouses. I don't understand how to fix the glitch.
Travolta, ironically, can still fly the plane, but it can't, just...
It can't do the Pulp Fiction dance or anything like
exactly,
that.
Exactly, yeah. That was the real Travolta before they got him.
Yeah, the charm, functions on the cyborg just totally blew it 20 years ago, and we've never been able to get it working again.
Yeah, his poor wife. Poor wife. What was her name again?
John Travolta's wife. I can't remember, to be honest.
That's how she introduces herself. I'm here to get my nails done. I'm John Travolta's wife.
She probably introduces herself as John Travolta's ex-wife. Did you see that?
I spent a good part of the 80s married to John Travolta.
Yeah.
Worship me.
Here's my resume. There you
go. I have married many, many rich men.
And there will be many more to come.
Well, fewer and fewer, like an NBA player signing that max contract. You know what I mean? You got to cash out when you can.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think his career's doing it. Did you see he was doing that Fred Durst movie?
What's that?
John Travolta. I don't know. I only saw a picture of it, and it's like one of those blog bits that I didn't read. But he looks ridiculous. He's got some.
Is this the race car one that he did, or is this a different one?
I can't remember. He looks really goofy. I can't remember if he has like a mullet.
You're gonna have to narrow it down.
He's got crazy glasses. He looks like Jeffrey Dahmer kind of, and he's in some movie directed by Fred Durst. That's all I know. He looks like he's in a movie directed by Fred Durst. I assumed it was like a Harmony Korine thing at first because he looked kind of like Matthew McConaughey in The Beach Bum, but this apparently was a Fred Durst joint. So he must.
Is he saying that? Is he? He's not doing that, right?
I don't know. Once again,
he's not putting on something that says this is this is a Fred Durst joint.
I think Spike Lee would have to come over and bitch slap him.
Spike Lee would probably drag him into the street.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anyone that deserves to be bitch slapped and dragged into the street, it's probably Fred Durst, and he probably acknowledged that. So
I'd pay to watch Spike Lee fight Fred Durst.
I would be in on
and
that.
Whoever wins or loses, I don't care.
Yeah, I'd be into that too. Yeah, fuck it. Bring back Celebrity Deathmatch. I want to see this.
How have they not brought it back yet?
I thought they were. They were talking about it for a while, but I don't think I ever saw it come to fruition.
I think it's just so like 90s MTV that it's just gone.
Yeah, I mean,
well, like who do you want to see? B2K or whatever what is the Korean pop band you want to see them fight? You know, yeah. Haley Seinfeld from
Seinfeld.
I mean, what's her name? Whatever her name is.
That Haley Seinfeld.
And we're just so out of it too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just too old these days. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about whoever.
The teen pops.
Yeah, I can't even think of her name.
She's gonna fight 11 from Stranger Things or something.
Yeah, I was like, who's the one everyone's always on about these days? That Pete, what's his face, was banging? The chick from. It doesn't matter.
I don't know who Pete is.
Pete Davidson, the guy from SNL, was dating. What's her face?
Kate Beckinsale?
No, before that. The one that he broke up, that Kate Beckinsale was the rebound for. That pop chick.
Man. Oh, my God. You know way too much about
this. Dude. She's everywhere.
Oh, no, dude. The office chatter.
I don't know. Anyways, I give up. I'm old. I don't understand things anymore.
We're done. We don't understand Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson I've never honestly been that big of a fan of.
If he can do it, anyone can do it.
Guess so.
Right?
I mean, good for him. Kate Beckinsale.
No, but I'm like, weren't you the guy that was on MTV Guy Code?
Was he?
And now you're dating all these. You're on SNL. I was like, how did you get on SNL?
Yeah, he like plays the same character over and over again. Like he's kind of funny.
It's the worst.
But
he's the worst.
Yeah, I don't know, and it just all sucks. These kids, they just won't get off my lawn.
I tell you. All right. Well, with that, let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's wrap this one up. We'll find another book. We'll find another movie. What do we got? Anything on the horizon?
Oh well, I mean, so I got two books that I know that they're adapting into movies, but I don't know if they're coming out soon.
What do we got?
Chaos Walking book.
Oh God! Which at least that'll be a quick read.
Well, so I'm curious if
because the movie is supposed to be absolutely trash,
right? And I'm curious if the movie's ever going to see the light of day now, because the rumor is that it's unwatchable. But
hey, that sounds about right for us.
Well, so the thing that interested me from the get-go was I saw Charlie Kaufman was hired as a writer. I think they hired him like midstream, and so he hasn't worked on anything in years. So I was kind of curious what it was, and he's always got a gimmick. So I was like, okay, there has to be something about this property that attracted him to it. And the whole conceit of the book, the one thing that's really interesting about it is it basically takes place in this world where nobody has any secrets because everyone telegraphs whatever they're thinking. So everyone knows what everyone's thinking at all times. And it's an interesting concept. Like, that's basically what this whole series is based on. and like they kind of show it in the text by having like weird scrawled text that kind of goes in and out of the margins and is very disorganized. But I'm just like, how the fuck do you do a whole movie where there's supposed to be noise going on in the background the whole time? So I assume all of the problems that they're having with it is coming from that, because like that's, I don't think anyone's ever done a movie like that before. But you know, Doug Liman's a good director, and even the shitty movies he does, like there's a gimmick to them. Like he did that movie Looper 10 years ago, which was terrible, but it had a cool gimmick to it. So I would be...
Doug Liman did a movie called Looper that wasn't the Ryan Johnson
sorry,
one?
not Looper, Jumper. My bad.
Jumper
is the one with the one with the guy that was Darth Vader in the prequels or whatever.
Yeah. Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah. So that he was terrible in that. He brought the whole movie down, but it was cool how they jumped from location to location, and that's clearly what attracted him. So I would be interested to see how that turns out whenever it comes to fruition. And then Charlie Kaufman's doing. I read this book that he's adapting for Netflix sometime in the next year or two called I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which was okay. Like I like Charlie Kaufman, so I'm definitely interested in whatever he's got coming up next. But aside from that, I don't think I got anything specific on the plate. You got anything?
All right. No. We'll keep an eye out. You know, any requests, drop them in the comments.
Yeah, let us know if there's anything cool.
You know,
we're old and out of touch, clearly. So you young kids
speak for yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out here in Hollywood, bumping. You
and Tom Cruise
and butts with Tom Cruise and the rest of them. Just
butt bumping with TC.
I ran into Miley Cyrus at the Gelsons yesterday.
Really, or
no?
Okay.
No. It's like Miley Cyrus doesn't go to.
I don't know
the Gelsons that I go to. Probably
aren't celebrities just like me? That's what TMZ wants me to know.
Yep. Nope.
Oh.
Yep. Nope. If you want celebrities, go to the Shake Shack in West Hollywood. I see one every time I go, which is once a year.
Oh.
Because who can be bothered?
You fancy LAers with your Shake Shack.
Yep.
Me and the rest of the Walmart people will just hang out with our scooters in the back of the Star Wars line.
That's what also ruins the ambiance is beep, beep, the electric scooters cruising through Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. You know, they should at least have to be like disguised as a droid or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do something fun. You know what I mean?
God, the nerve of these people.
God. It's like there's nowhere to go. Like we got trapped behind a woman in a scooter. You know, just and we were like, well, I don't know what do you do? What is the you can't ask to excuse me and they can't move.
Right.
What do? You know what I mean? You got to climb over them like they're like they're,
pop quiz hotshot. What do you do? All right, on that note, I think I gotta hit it. I'm falling asleep.
All right, let's get out of here. All right, thank you guys so much for listening to our ramblings. You know, we do this more for ourselves than for you, honestly, clearly. But thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it. If you enjoyed Good Omens, we stopped talking about it 35 minutes ago, probably. Let us know in the comments. Did you love it? Did you hate it? You know, argue with us, whatever you like.
Yeah.
Throw us a like, throw us a share, subscribe, whatever you like. You know, it's you know, a couple guys. We're just hanging out.
We're just hanging out. We're just toss us a like. Little thumb up.
You know, I'm hanging out on the beach in Malibu. You know, Mr. Andrew Volpe sitting on the Lincoln Memorial right now.
Yeah.
You know, we're just putting our feet up.
Dave will put in a good word to Tom Cruise for you if you toss him one. Just toss him a like.
Toss me a like, bro.
Look at that.
And we appreciate it. Hit us up on all the social medias. We'll throw all the links below. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks so much.
All right, guys. Have a nice night.